Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whatever time of day you may be listening to this. And welcome to the very first episode of This is BS Man podcast, where we look at and tackle subjects that is just complete and utter nonsense, and perhaps I'll look a little further into what solutions for this may be. And for this first episode, I would like to tackle a subject that led me to starting this podcast. Namely, what complete and utter BS it's been in order to find a job. For those of you who are much younger listening to this podcast, allow me to elaborate this a little further. It used to be, way back when, you would just want to find a job. You would go to a local area, local business or store, ask them if they're hiring, and they would look into further and perhaps give you a form to fill out in order to get a job position. Unfortunately, if you try that in today's world, they will tell you that either one, they're not hiring, or number two, they are hiring, but you have to do everything online. Yeah, that's the first piece of bull right there. There is no such thing as paper resumes or paper job applications anymore. Has anyone else noticed this? I know I'm not alone on this. I've talked to several people who are looking for jobs too, and they can't get a paper resume out or application out anymore. Now, I know what some people will try to object to on this. They'll try to say, well, who doesn't have internet access? Lots of people don't have internet access. So how are they supposed to apply for jobs? So finally, you break down and then decide to go look for jobs online. Okay, here's the issue with going online. First of all, if any company does have positions online, you have no way of knowing, one, whether or not the position has already been filled, where the job even is, and most frustrating of all, there's nothing on that ad that'll tell you how long it will take for someone to get back to you concerning the position, leaving you frustrated as all get out as to when you will actually hear back from anybody, if at all. And this is assuming that everything on the ad is accurate and telling you exactly what the employer is looking for in a new employee. But let me ask you all of this. How many wanted ads have you looked at and applied to? You thought you were being told the entire truth, and when you finally land that all-important interview, they then ask you whether or not you speak a foreign language, even though you were under the impression knowing a foreign language wasn't needed. Come on, be honest. So let's say, for argument's sake, then, that the ad was telling the complete truth. You do meet all the criteria. You have the experience needed, so you send your resume out. So you then get a follow-up email that says that your resume has been received. So you continue the hunt, right? Oh, but what's this? You get another email that says that the company you just applied to says that you have to now do an online assessment. An assessment. Something, again, that was not on the ad telling you that you had to do first before you'd even be considered. And about these assessments themselves, I've sent enough resumes to know they can basically be boiled down to three categories. One is a call center simulation. One is an account difference exercise to show just if you can tell minute differences in two different accounts. And finally, a personality test. I've seen so much of these and I'm going, what does any of this have to do with the job that I just applied for? I mean, the account one, maybe if we're talking about a secretarial or front desk job, but I have a hard time believing that any of these tests are needed for any other type of job. And by the way, if they are needed, why not just do a face-to-face interview first and then send the assessment if the company feels like that it's needed for that particular candidate? Why does it always have to be before you even remotely consider possibly, maybe, having a sit-down face-to-face interview with them? So you jump through all these hoops, you do everything they ask you to do, you are confident that you have this job in the bag, you did the assessment, you did the interview, you wait, and you wait, and wait, and wait. Finally, after all your waiting, and after all that being positive, saying that you have this in the bag, I am going to be positive, what did you get out of this? Nothing. You got a big fat 0. Meaning, all the time that you just invested in trying to land this all-important job was all for nothing. All that time you will never have back. And by the way, while we're on the subject of being positive, every single piece of job-seeking advice out there will tell you you need to be positive about getting the job. Here's my question. How does the company you apply to know you're being positive? How are they going to know that you have so much riding on getting the job? They don't know that because they can't know that. And they can't know that because they're not a bunch of mind readers. So what other course of action is there from not waiting as long to hear back from them? Well, you could keep contacting them, right? Yeah, but then you run the risk of coming off like you're badgering them, and they may get so annoyed they might not even consider you. You could check the status of your resume online, and some areas do offer that, but not all of them do. And especially if it's for a big company, they don't offer that, period. You could send out resumes to other job positions. Yeah, but then you're just starting the cycle all over again. In fact, let's do a little quick review of everything so far. You can only apply for jobs online. The Wanted ad itself can't be trusted to tell you the whole truth. They spring assessments on you that are not needed and are irrelevant to the job at hand. They take forever to say yes to you, but no time at all to say no. You can't follow up with this in any way, shape, or form. And even then, there is still no way of knowing whether or not you got the job. Are you starting to see why so many people just stop trying after a while? And we're not talking about people who want to just sit around all day. These people actually want to work. They want to produce. They want to make something of their lives. And I know also what some of the excuses are that the company's going to try to come at about this. First excuse, well, we have so many people apply, there's no way to look them all. Yeah, where's your proof about how many people have applied to jobs? Show me a big stack of resumes that people submit for your position. And that better be as thick as a Bible, or I'm not believing you. Excuse number 2. There's just so much work for the hiring managers to do. Note the key word in that, hiring. In other words, it is this manager's job to look at people to hire. There should not be much of anything else for this manager to do apart from looking at new hires. Then again, these two assumptions base themselves around that it's actually a human looking at your resume. See, this is another neat little trick companies are doing now. You see, rare is the time your resume will actually be looked at by a human, right? Because again, they want you to believe that there are so many they can't sift through all of them. So what they do is they come up with a computer program to sift through the resumes to look for keywords relevant to the job. They're actually called applicant tracking systems. And what they do is use a pre-planned out algorithm in order to filter out qualified candidates, or supposed qualified candidates, from unqualified candidates. Now, some people have tried to be smart with this and copy as many words from the original job posting into the resume as possible to get past the system. First of all, don't do that. How the system was going to rank your resume is not known to the general public. And even if it does get past them, as soon as a human person reads it, they're going to figure out that's what you did and throw your resume in the trash. And don't think for a moment that you can apply for a company that doesn't use these types of systems. By some estimates, about 95% of Fortune 500 companies and about roughly 40% of small businesses use these types of systems to screen potential candidates. So yeah, whether you like it or not, these types of tracking systems are here to stay. The only advice I can give is custom your resume to each job description. Yes, I know that is so tedious and repetitive. Believe me, I know. Just stick with traditional resume formats and headings and columns. Don't try to do anything fancy. And just use regular resume section headings. So let's add to our growing list of things about this. You can only apply online. The job ad itself doesn't tell you the whole truth. They spring assessments on you that you probably weren't prepared for. They take forever to say yes, but no time at all saying no. You can't guarantee that your resume is going to be seen by a human person, and by the time it actually is seen by a human person, so much time has gone by that you're about ready to give up. And then, at the last possible conceivable moment, then you're down with a face-to-face interview. Complete with loaded questions. Oh, we've all been there, haven't we? These are loaded questions like, what do you think are your 3 greatest strengths? Or what are your greatest weaknesses? What would other people say about you that was your greatest weakness or strength? Oh, what exactly was the last time you got into a fight with one of your managers? Like, where else are you interviewing? What has annoyed you the most about previous bosses and coworkers? What's the biggest risk you've taken? What are your salary expectations? Oh, that's a real minefield there. Why do you want to work here? I mean, I'm sorry, did I just show up for a job interview, or did I just show up for a therapy session? Because if I want a therapy session, I'd go see a damn therapist. Okay, I'm calm now. I apologize for that. And to be fair, there are articles out there concerning tips on how to answer these questions. That's still no guarantee of success, though, and even then there's also no consistent pattern in what types of answers will actually get you the job in the first place. It also doesn't seem to matter as to what website you go on to place your resume, because they all have equally low outcomes. Look, I'll wrap this up in a few moments, but bottom line is, I don't want the things to be this way. I want to work. Millions out there want to work. They want a fair shake. They want to prove themselves. They have the experience. They have the willingness to do this. And it frustrates me. It frustrates them. It probably frustrates everyone in this nation that because of all of these hoops and all these barriers to entry, they're not going to get a fair shake. They can only dream of getting a fair shake. And in my book, that's complete BS. It's just complete BS, man.